Hi, and welcome to the 2020 Waco Chamber of Commerce Tip Off Luncheon, virtual this year. Safe to say, we've never had a luncheon like this. Wish we could see everyone's smiling face out there. It's always fun to get together, hear from the coaches. We will hear from the coaches today, but it's always great to see everyone in the same room, but maybe we're all getting used to doing things virtually and seeing everyone virtually. But glad you're with us today. We have a great program packed full for you. You'll hear from the Baylor coaches, the MCC coaches, and get a preview of the basketball season, which is right around the corner. So thank you for being with us. And as we begin, it is a pleasure to welcome the chairman of the Waco Chamber for 2020. Rick Tullis is here with us. Rick, safe to say your year as being the chairman has been unlike any other.
Yes, I've got to avoid a lot of chicken dinners, so it's been great.
That's right.
And I'm excited that we're up in our game and doing this event with more of a broadcast format. We've done a few of these with really the Zoom technology, which I think all of us have adapted to through the COVID crisis. But you know, it's time we all get a little better. So we're really looking forward to this broadcast. So thankful to be doing the tip-off luncheon with you and the coaches coming in and giving their time to it. So yeah, it's been a different year for sure.
Appreciate it. A lot of things are different, but in a lot of ways, it's been a successful year for the Chamber.
Yeah. Ironically, and as most people know, the Chamber of Commerce, we're the lead economic development organization here in Waco. We work closely with the other chambers of commerce and the state. I mean, a little bit with the state, the city, and the county. And ironically, it's going to be a record-breaking year for McLennan County as far as new businesses coming into town, the job creation, the investment in our community. So even in the midst of a terrible COVID year, we have a lot to be thankful for, and I'm very proud of the Chamber's team and everyone who's worked to make that happen. So.
Wow, a lot of people have done a lot of good work, so thanks to everybody.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Well,
thank you for your year. Let's
get
going. Let's talk some hoops, all right?
All right, sounds good. Well, then you need someone besides me sitting here. So.
You're a tall guy. You can talk hoops. But we thank Walk-Ons. Walk-Ons is our presenting sponsor of this luncheon series.
True to its Louisiana roots, Walk-Ons offers a genuine sense and appreciation and hospitality to everyone. Their idea began to take shape 35,000 feet above the earth as they sketched their vision for a floor plan on the back of a napkin while the team flew home from a road game.
So I was a walk-on the LSU basketball team in the late 90s and early 2000s, and figured out pretty early on in my career that I wasn't going to play in the NBA. We were literally on a plane ride on the way back from the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, and we started doodling on a little bev nap, and the creation of Walk-Ons was there. We did it as a school project and entrepreneurship class at LSU and got a C.
The classic underdog. How did you handle being told no as a kid or a grown-up, and what'd you do about it? If you're a walk-on, you play for the love of the game. You can point to the food, you can point to the cool buildings, facilities, all that, but it goes back to the culture, it goes back to the walk-on mentality. And I think there's just the story.
We improved upon that project, and we ended up getting our business plan together, and First Bank said, we love it, but no. We couldn't take the risk on young guys like us and with little experience in the restaurant business. And so once again, that walk-on mentality kicked in, and we went to bank number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, and they all said no, 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 no. What did we do? We went to number 7 and sat down with the banker, and he said, guys, if you're willing to bust your tail, we'll back you.
He was really committed to the overall food quality and the operation of the restaurant, and that to me is really what drew me to Walk-Ons. Not only do we source locally and pull shrimp from the Gulf of Mexico and do everything we can to support those local economies and those local farmers, we're also very committed to quality of food and quality in everything we do. We treat our culinary team members as chefs. We empower them to really have pride in everything they do.
And when we say Taste of Louisiana, it's just not the cuisine that you're putting in your mouth. It's the Louisiana culture. Inviting in someone to your tailgate or your home or whatever it may be.
Everybody has a place on the team. You feel welcome. There's a lot of competition for great people, and great people want to work where there's a great culture.
You have to show your team that you care. They have to know that you're valued. They have to know that they wake up for a reason. And it's only because of them that we grow. So it's what are we doing for them?
Being a part of a team is being a part of something much bigger than yourself.
You walk into our restaurants and you see something completely different, something that you would not expect. And that really comes alive when you walk into the doors at a Walk-On Sports Grill.
So what is it that makes Walk-Ons number one? Well, for starters, it's a concept committed to serving great food with a taste of Louisiana. It's a family sports bar with a game day atmosphere and an all-American team. Brandon and everyone associated with Walk-Ons share a winning culture and, most importantly, the heart of a walk-on.
I think having that walk-on mentality, whether it be sports or not, it just gives you that drive to work harder, be a great teammate, to be a great business person, to do the little extra things that makes you special. We really do live for this.
Special thanks to Walk-Ons, our presenting sponsor of today's luncheon, the Tip Off Luncheon, and our luncheon series this year. Thanks also to our other sponsors, our gold sponsors, American Bank, Baylor Bears Sports Properties, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, and TFNB, your bank for life. Thanks to our silver sponsors, Automatic Chef and Patillo Brown and Hill. And thanks to our bronze sponsors, Allen Samuels, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat, Alliance Bank, Central Texas, American Guarantee Title, Baylor University, Community Bank and Trust, Dealers Electric, First National Bank of Central Texas, Home Abstract and Title Company, Jim Bland Construction, JRBT, Matson Financial Services, McLennan Community College, Bean Wealth Management Group, and Steba Wealth Management Group. Thanks to all of our sponsors, and a special thank you to Green Life Interiors, DuBois Furniture, Loaded Sound, the Baylor Bear Foundation, and the MCC Foundation for their partnership in this virtual event.
Right side, there it is. It's an NCAA record for Juicy Landrum.
No, looking at old ballet, I had to rock the boat so I could ride the wave, yeah.
Number one, UConn. This might be their toughest test of the season so far.
Laughing cause I got the cheat code to life, and we all gon' be alright, so come and get it like. I'm living my best life, living my best life. So come and get it like. I'm living my best life, my best life. Perfect timing, sun is shining, nothing more I need, yeah. If you feel like this your best life, won't you sing with me?
And that's what you came here for, okay? Just keep running, keep letting me challenge you.
It never gets old. It is hard to do.
I'm living my best.
That'll get you going. That'll get you thinking about basketball. And joining us now is the head coach of the Baylor Lady Bears, Coach Kim Mulkey. Can I say the coach of the defending national champions? Right? We didn't have one last year. I mean, y'all won it in 2019. There's nobody else that would be a defending national champion.
John, I don't think any head coach will turn that title down.
That's right. Let's ride that wave
Let's
as long
do
as we
it.
can till you get going again.
Let's do it.
Let me say to you personally, congratulations, first off, selected to the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame during the offseason. What a tremendous honor.
Well, it is an honor. I'm just humbled by it. You know this. We're only as good as the people around us, and I'm at an institution that loves women's basketball. I've coached some of the greatest in the game, and have had a coaching staff that, you know, believed in me and what we built here, and so it's an honor.
It's a great honor, and what a great class you're going in with.
Well, I'm not in their league, that's for sure.
No, but you are, though.
When you think about, you know, when and if we ever have that induction, what will be done and said for Kobe Bryant and Garnett and Tim Duncan and Eddie Sutton. There's so many more, I can't even think of them. Tamika Catchings, Barbara Stevens. I know I'm missing somebody, but to be able just to watch and see and observe, you know, who would have ever thought that I would have had, you know, votes to be in that thing.
Yeah, well, congratulations. That's a great honor.
Thanks.
How about, here's some breaking news. Just in the last half hour, the Associated Press preseason top 25 poll is out for women's basketball, and you're listed number 4 in the preseason poll. And when I shared that with you, you were a little surprised.
Well, you are the bearer of good news.
That's good.
John, I didn't know that. I'm sure by the end of the day, I would have read it somewhere, or one of my assistants would have told me. My response initially was, wow, even with the injuries we've had in preseason, you know, that's a respect thing, and we welcome it. Anything like that, I've always said, it doesn't win ball games for you, but it certainly brings recognition and to Baylor University and to our program.
You mentioned the injuries, 2 really serious injuries to Dee Richards and Moon Urson. Can you give us an update on how they're doing?
I can. Moon is just about to the end of concussion protocol. She still has, you know, a little bit of stuff that she has to do. She is on the floor practicing with us. Dee, it will have been 2 weeks this past Saturday, you know, since the injury, and see where she is today is remarkable. The progress she has made is remarkable. She's just itching to get back out there. She still has a long way to go, but boy, has she come a long way in 2 weeks and 3 days.
Wow. So praying for both of them that they're back and back healthy and can get back on the floor for you at some point. For those who don't know, that injury, when it occurred, it was sort of a very much a fluke thing that ended up being that serious for both
John,
of them.
we all see bad injuries in sports. We've seen the torn knees, the shoulders, and a lot of things that you kind of have come to expect in athletics. This was an injury that when it happened, it was a tremendous collision in midair. Moon's head and shoulder hit Dee in the abdomen, the pelvis, kind of the right side, and she did like a pirouette, if you call it that, in the air, but they both, you know, were able to break their fall. Yep. Neither one of them hit the floor with dead weight, but Dee's injury was such impact to her spine and to her central nervous system that basically her legs had to wake up. And we don't know when it will, and I just know that the doctors have been very encouraging that she's young, she's healthy, and they expect her to be back. What they don't know is how long it will take.
Well, like you said, good progress, good moving forward to getting them back. So that is very good news. You've got a thin roster to start with. I mean, you don't have that many players to be having them sitting over there with you.
Well, if you ask me today how many would dress out, it would be 8 because we have one with a little bug of vomiting and diarrhea, and you know that can go through a team quickly. But with Moon back, we know that we'll have 9 in uniform. 2 are sitting out that cannot play this year, transfers, and then when Dee, if it's this year or whenever, will be the 10th one. And you know, that's a good number. But the problem is injuries. And when injuries hit, and now with COVID issues, you know, it makes you very, very uncomfortable because coaches are creatures of habit. We plan ahead, and with COVID, you can't plan ahead. We don't know from day to day how many we'll have, week to week, or even how many games we're going to play this year. But live in the moment and go to practice with those that you have available.
What's the threshold, or has it been set yet by the Big 12, of how many you have to have available to play?
That is still being discussed. I think it was pretty unanimous that coaches wanted 8. Okay. I think that's a great number. My understanding was, or is, that the administrators want 7. So I don't know if we're still trying to change that. I'm certainly not a proponent of 7. I know and understand why. They just want us to play the games. But coaches, you know, you got to have enough to be respected on the court and put a product on the floor that's, you know, competitive. I'm not sure you can do that with 7, but that's my personal opinion as well as a lot of coaches' opinions. But we have bosses, and if the bosses tell you you're going to play with 7, you do.
And like you said yesterday, it has to be the right 7. I mean, what if you had 5 guards and 2 post players and they said, you got to play?
John, listen, that's going to be some ugly basketball is what that's going to be. But again, what is your priority?
Right.
I think as administrators and the NCAA has put out there, the priority is just to play games. It's not about necessarily winning, and try telling me that. Yeah, you're not going to go coach today and say, okay, give me you 5 guards over here and let's put in a totally different offense for y'all just in case. Now give me you 4 post players, which one of you can handle the ball the best, and you're going to have to play point guard for this game. But you're going to see stuff like that with COVID, John, if we have to play with 7 players.
Wow, man. What if somebody came to you and said, hey, you know, just get on the floor, it's just a game, you get this year back. Coach, it really doesn't matter if you win or not. What would be your reaction to that?
I feel like that's what is being presented
Really?
to us, John, and it's a tough pill to swallow. I just know how competitive coaches are, and that's a tough pill to swallow. We can swallow it and go, okay, we hear you. You're not really going to evaluate us as a coach this year.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, your pride takes over and your type A personality takes over, and you don't want to put a product on that floor that isn't good, nor do you want kids to play out of position and they don't look good, or they may even get hurt. But that's where we are.
How about of your returning players, Nalissa Smith, all Big 12, looking forward to continued progress for her this year. We talked about Dee Dee, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year in women's college basketball, and the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year also. What's the core of returnees you have back this year?
Well, Nalissa and Dee Dee obviously were our 2 that played the most minutes the last several years. Nalissa Smith is just an offensive type of athlete. She can do a lot of things. Tremendous offensive rebounder, can shoot the perimeter shot facing, has learned how to bang in there with the bigs. She kind of slipped in there a lot when Cox and Kalani were getting all the attention. Nalissa's going to get all that attention now. So we expect great things from her. Without Dee Dee, we lose energetic, tall, lanky perimeter player that made a lot of things happen for us on the defensive end of the floor. She was going to be, and when she comes back, will be point guard, but she can play 4 positions for us on the floor. Now roles are going to start changing with some of the players that did get minutes. Moon Urson's role, Queen Egbo's role, Trinity Oliver's role, Jordan Oliver. I can name all of the returning players. Their role now is significantly different. You got Carrington, who transferred here from Stanford. She has the experience and she has the body to bang in there on the perimeter and inside. And then you got 2 freshmen that you're going to have to throw them into the fire quickly. Not as quick as I would normally want to do it under normal circumstances, but because we only have the 9 players, they're going to have to play, and they're going to have to learn, through the course of a game. And sometimes you try to protect them, but hey, they're talented.
Tell us about those 2 freshmen. You really are going to have to count on them this year.
Well, Hannah Gustas is a 6'5" post player that can face a basket and shoot the jump shot facing the basket. She's a big presence for us down low. She has a knack for getting to offensive boards. She'll figure out how to get in there and bang and get an offensive board for you. She's a freshman, and I think she gets frustrated when she gets her shot blocked or when, something doesn't go her way, because now she's playing with players that are older, more experienced, and as talented as she is. Sarah Andrews was her high school teammate at MacArthur Irving. Sarah is a point guard, but she can shoot the 3 ball. I could slide her over and play her at the 2 if I need to. She is such a sweet kid. I have to get on her about opening her mouth. You have to be our leader out there. You have to be our little general out there and know everybody's position. And she's a good passer. So you know, those kids have talent. What they don't have is experience, and they're going to be exposed to a lot of great players early in their career.
What about the transfers that are sitting out, can practice with you, but not available this year?
Well, Kamaria McDaniel transferred to us from Penn State. She was an all Big Ten performer, leading scorer there. Now she and Dee Dee Richards made for some remarkable practices early, because I mean they just jaw at each other, they compete with each other, they just they love the game. I wish we had her this year, but we don't. And then you have Jaden Owens, who you know, went to Plano West High School. She's transferring to us from UCLA. She's a point guard. Again, I wish we had her, because she could, you know, help Sarah and help Jordan Oliver and those kids handle the ball. But she has to sit out as well.
How about your schedule? You got a tough schedule. It's a little different in that there aren't as many non-conference games as normal, but it still is pretty challenging for you.
We lost 5 games, John, with all the COVID stuff. Oregon, we were going to play them in Las Vegas. We lost 4 potential home games here in the preseason NIT. We have, I think, 9, maybe 10 non-conference, 8 before our conference starts, and then Connecticut in January here. We just need games. We need experience. You know, there's 3 in early December, back to back to back, that will be very difficult for us. We go to South Florida, we go to Arkansas, and we go to West Virginia for our very first conference game. Those 3 games, just off the top of my head, stand out because 1, they're on the road. 2, all 3 of those teams have returning players with experience, and those 3 will be challenging.
UConn coming in, that's always fun when you get together with them. That's one of the teams that is ranked ahead of you right now.
Well, they come in January. If I top of my head, it's either January 7th or January 9th. I can't remember. I can't think that far in advance anymore, but certainly they're very good. They recruited well. UConn is UConn. They're like, you know, a lot of teams, they just reload, and it'll be a battle.
And you mentioned West Virginia in December, which is different. You're starting conference earlier, probably 2 weeks earlier than you normally would, but that's by design by the Big 12.
Well, they're trying to leave a window between the last game of the regular season and the conference tournament for makeup games. So we will play 2 non-conference games before Christmas. The first one will be going to West Virginia, and then we'll play Texas Tech here in the second game.
Okay. Final thought, your 21st year here at Baylor, you know, you're a Hall of Famer, but to me, I really enjoy it when I'm around you, because that fire still burns bright. I mean, you haven't lost any of your fire, have you?
Well, I probably lost a lot of sleep, and, you know, a lot of hair now is gray and a lot more wrinkles and a few more pounds, but internally, if your fire's not great, you don't need to be doing it anymore. I enjoy competing, and I enjoy just seeing those kids, just seeing their face and laughing with them and crying with them and getting on them when I'm trying to challenge them to make them better basketball players. 21 years, John, that's a long time in one place. I don't know many coaches that don't keep suitcases packed. So Baylor's been good to me, and I've been blessed to be at a place that really, really enjoys women's basketball.
That's great. Coach, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Enjoy little walk-ons. You like walk-ons.
Well, yeah, I mean, the connection to Louisiana and, you know, the food, and yeah, how about a little shrimp po' boy today, right?
There you go. We enjoy that. Coach, thanks for your time. Baylor women's coach Kim Mulkey, their season opener is coming up on November 25th. And welcome back. We continue on the Waco Chamber of Commerce virtual tip-off luncheon. Thanks again to Walk-Ons, our presenting sponsor. And we welcome in Ricky Rhodes, the longtime coach for MCC women's basketball. It's good to see you. Welcome in. We talked to Coach Mulkey about her 21st season. This year, 22nd coming up. You've been doing this for a while.
Thanks for having me on. Thanks for having. Yeah, this is year 22.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe. Just thought about those years way back when I started this, and it's 22 years going into it.
That's nice. You're doing something right. Stick around.
I tried to.
22 years. You're doing a lot right. What about working through this year? 2020 has been a year, unlike any other, with COVID and all the protocols and everything like that. How has it changed the way you do business?
It is a little unique because we have to think about not just the players, but when they go to class, how they do the class work, how they stand on top of things, practice, who's going to show up, who's not going to show up. And every morning we do a temperature check on the girls. They kind of help us kind of get things started, setting practice, how practice is going to be. If we're going to have 8, 9, 10, 11 players. So it is a challenge for us, but we're going to fight through this just like anything on the basketball court. You adjust, you make adjustment to the game, and try to get that W.
How has it been? Have you had most of your players available for most of your practices?
Yes, we have. We had a little incident where we had 3 players by contact, and we're down to 6 players, but we're good right now. Everybody's healthy, and we're ready to try to get this thing going.
That's good. Thank the Lord for that. How about your family? Everybody healthy in your family?
Everybody's good. Avery, who's at Iowa State,
right.
She rolled her ankle about 3 weeks ago, and so she's pretty much done for volleyball season, and then she contacted the virus, and so she spent those 10 days in, but now she's got antibodies, so she's good. So she's walked around like, yes, I'm good. And then Reese, who's at Tech, she spent like twice by contact, but she's good now. She's playing. Matter of fact, she got a chance to play last weekend against Kansas State, and so everybody's fine. My boys are fine. They're freshmen at Midway.
Right, very good. That's good news. Tell me about your team. Tell me, you've got four players back from last year. I would guess that's the core of your team, and then add the newcomers, but tell us your thoughts about your team.
Right now, we're still trying to figure things out. That's the good thing about this year. The NJCA has come in and said, hey, you got 60 days until the last class day that you think you're going to be in class. And so we've been working on a lot of fundamentals, ball handling, shooting, defense, and really trying to build that basketball IQ. Like I said, we got 4 sophomores. We got Jaden Fontenette, who's from West Columbia, Raja Todd, who's from Cedar Hill, Marquise Nelson, she's from California, and then the last one is Mel Collin, who's from Fort Worth, Temple Creek. And so they're supposed to be my leaders, and they're trying to lead by being vocal, a lot of energy to practice. The newcomers, y'all should know, Central Texas should know Mayana Little, who's from Conley.
Okay.
And she's really come in and has bought into what we're trying to do. We had another Central Texas kid from Harker Heights, Brielle Dorsey, 6'1", long, athletic. And so we look forward for everybody to help us out this year.
Good. What was recruiting like? I mean, you had to do that completely different this year, didn't you?
That was a lot of fun because these kids want to come in and see the campus. They
Right.
want to see where we stay. They want to meet the teachers, the professors, and kind of hang out with the team. But Coach Thomas, my assistant coach, did a great job talking to the players through text, using Zoom meeting. Anytime we called them, and she said, "Hey, Coach, I need you to talk to this kid," and that was fun to do. And now that we're in this kind of pandemic, we're gonna probably do that more often. Talk to the kids through Zoom.
Yeah, I mean, it's a new way of doing business, but you had to do it that way. I mean, you had to keep recruiting. You had to find a way to make it work.
Yes, we had a list of kids that we wanted to bring in on campus, but when the MCC shut down, you couldn't bring it on campus. And so it ended up working out because we got the kids that we want, kids that's going to be successful, that's going to do it not on the court, but in the classroom.
So normally we do the tip-off luncheon and you're about to tip off, or sometimes you already have tipped off. That schedule is very different this year.
Yes, it's funny because usually the NBA season starts first.
Right.
And then here comes the JUCO basketball, NJCA starts. By now, I was telling the players yesterday, by now we're already played 3 games. You're talking about one last week on a Tuesday because NJC says November 1st is your first game.
Okay.
And then you'll play that Friday and Saturday, and then we probably would have had a game today, in the past where I would go to Lufkin to play Angelina College.
That's right, yeah.
And so it has been a little different, but we have had some scrimmage games to kind of fill in because they allow us 5 scrimmage games, and we can have 2 in the spring. So we've played 2 already, and we're kind of figuring some things out, but it's still a long ways to go.
Can you tell us who you scrimmaged against, or do you not want to talk about
Yeah,
that?
I can scrimmage. We scrimmage a team out of Dallas called Texas Christian College, and then we scrimmage University of North Texas of Dallas, which Rodney Belcher, who's from Waco, this is their first year. They're going to be NIA, but eventually try to work their way up to Division I. But those 2 games kind of gave the players, okay, we can see the light at the end of the tunnel if we do what we need to do, which is stay healthy, wear your mask, sanitize, and do the right things.
And those scrimmages, boy, those are important for you this year, aren't they?
Yes, because I try to use them as game-like. You know, we go 4 quarters with officials, fouls, thinking how to use it to our advantage. And so you can see different combinations of players that we try to put out there. One time I had 2 point guards, Mayana and Jaden, out there running the show for us. So because they both can score as an off guard too.
So when do you start? When will the season start? In January?
Yes, we'll come back January 4th.
Okay.
The start of practice. Official game starts January 20th. Once again, I think we're opening with Texas Christian, but that's so far ahead. I'm just trying to concentrate on right now. You know, we're talking about 18, 19, maybe 20-year-old young ladies that their minds, if it's not just the way they think it is, you got to bring them back in.
How different is this aspect of this year in that you start now, like we've talked about, you'll start November 1st, and then you play a few games, then you have this break, a long break, and then you come back in January and get going again. This year you don't have that first portion of games. How different is that for you?
It's going to be a little different. Like I said, we have those scrimmage games that we can lean back on, but when they leave next in 2 weeks on the November 24th, I won't see them again until January 3rd.
Wow.
So we're talking about a long layoff period, which we're going to have to encourage, kind of entice the players to work out over their break. You know, maybe that's, once again, we have Zoom meetings. There's iPhones and those things that we're going to have to start thinking about to get them to stay in shape. But it's going to be something unique. But it's a challenge, and so we'll take that on.
You know, I think this is a real challenge for coaches, you know, to figure out ways to make things happen, to engage with your players, you know, and a lot of it, some of it's virtual, you know, some of it's face-to-face. But for you as a coach, and you've done it for a long time, how challenging has this been?
You know, I'm not the greatest with technology, but I'm starting to figure things out. And once again, the players get to see the coaches, you know, away from court, that we can talk, and my door, like this, like Zoom is always going to be open. You can call me. So it's fun at times, and at times I got to call this kid to make sure she's doing her part.
Right.
So
Zoom, you've become very proficient in Zoom?
I think I am. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting close.
Very good. You sort of had to, right? Sink or swim.
Yes, you have to. I mean, all the different buttons, the bells and whistles, and make sure that it's that player, not somebody else, that kind of bombs the Zoom.
Yeah. So when your games begin after the first of the year in January, do you feel like you're on the road to getting your team ready for when you have the actual games, or is your focus right now kind of just getting them together and practicing and getting them ready for the scrimmages that you'll have before you start the actual season?
Well, for us, I think we're going to have to use this fall season, and then, like I said, we have scrimmage games, and then when we get back, we got to kind of hit it running, because they only allow us 22 games. So we have 16 conference games, so I have 6 non-conference games to play with. But I only can find 5 non-conference games, so I'm going to hit the game running. We open up, and then I got 2 tough teams. I got Tyler JC, who's always at the national tournament, and Blinn Junior College. And Blinn, they don't stop. They just keep running and running and running and running. So we have to be able to do some things that we got to make sure our players are ready to go when we play those 2 teams.
Have you had trouble finding people to play you? I mean,
No.
would you like to play some more?
I would like to play some more, but at the same time, you don't want to, burn the kids out.
I got you.
We start February 3rd conference. I want to make sure we're ready to go.
I got you.
February 3rd, we're already down to like 8 players. We got a couple injuries here. And so I want to make sure that I got the right 8, like you told Coach Mulkey, have the right 8 players on the floor to be successful.
Do y'all think you'll have a threshold of players, like minimum players available to play games? You think that'll be in force?
Yes, a matter of fact, our conference has talked about how many players will it take to play a game. Right now, I think once again it's 8.
Okay.
I think we're talking about 8-2. It's just any 8 that you can play. I know Collin County, Coach Allen over there, he always have 8 players, so I think that's going to be the magic number, 8.
Gotcha. And you're good with that? That'd be
I'm
a good
good
number
with
for
it,
you?
yeah. I just wanted the kids to go play. Like, we also, this is a free year for our kids too, so they can stay another year or they can move on. I have those 4 sophomores on track to graduate and leave. And so we have to evaluate them. Do we want to keep them here, or do we say, no, you need to go on, and so they can finish their degree?
It's a really good point to make, that they'll get an extra year if they want it, and if you have them back, that will create some decisions for you, right, roster-wise.
Yes, and me and my Coach Thomas will sit back and kind of evaluate, do we really need this kid, or do we need to go out and continue to search and recruit other kids? It's a 2-year program, and the sophomores we have now have done their job and really worked in the classroom, and now let's give them on, because they'll give them 3 years at the next level.
Yeah.
Give them 3
right.
instead of having 2.
All right, very good. Tell us what's new on the MCC campus. I love coming out there. When I come out there, it's just so beautiful. What's new that we need to know about?
It's new. It's not new. It's everything. We're just MCC. We want to be here for the community. We have our University Center that's out there for the students. Our enrollments are down a little bit, but it's starting to grow once they start to see that MCC is here for the students. We're not coach, but Dr. McCowan, I like to say coach, because she's really a coach, but she's got things in place to make us be successful at MCC.
Very good. Well, good luck as you get things going. You got those scrimmages here in the fall. Those are really important. And then after the first of the year, hit the ground running and start the season January 20th. Good luck to you.
Well, thank you. Thanks again for having me on.
All right, man. It's good to see you. Ricky Rhodes, the women's coach at MCC, beginning his 22nd season as head coach of the High Lassies.
Ball is tipped, and there you are. You're running for your life. You're a shooting star, and all the years, no one knows just how hard you worked, but now it shows.
Blair spins away for the knee. Look at that! That's defense!
One shining moment, you knew you were alive. And when it's done, win or lose, you always did your best, 'cause inside you knew.
That we're making people understand we are the best of the best.
To take the
Magic. They are playing well. Oh, they are good. They're showing why they're number 1.
One shining moment.
Amazing. This is historic, folks.
And that also will get you pumped up and excited about the basketball season ahead here for the Baylor men. And we're joined by Baylor men's coach Scott Drew. Coach, good to see you. Appreciate you doing this. And kind of strange we're talking into cameras instead of a full arena or full Baylor club of people out there, but it's kind of where we are right now.
Definitely miss the energy of the 1,000 plus that show up for the Tip Off Luncheon.
How have you've handled it really well? Like, your recruiting was outstanding during the off season, doing everything by Zoom or doing everything virtually?
Well, technology really helps nowadays, especially when you have a staff that embraces it, and our coaches really did a great job making sure that we were able to be in communication with the recruits, their families, and be able to put Baylor's best foot forward. And rankings-wise, one of the best classes we've ever had, but more importantly, just proud of the people that our program's been able to attract and their character.
And the early signing period, that starts tomorrow, is that right?
Yeah, so
we'll
tomorrow, you could ask me a lot of questions come tomorrow.
Right. You want to come back tomorrow,
yeah.
and we'll get more details from you?
If we have walk-ons for lunch, I'll be back.
There you go. There you go. All right. So we can't talk about those, but the announcement of those officially signed in the early period will come tomorrow, so watch for that. Coach, let's go back to last March. We're sitting at a hotel ballroom in Kansas City, and you're working the phone, and the phone is ringing like crazy, and all of a sudden we hear, the Big 12 tournament. First it was going to be played with no fans, and then it's not going to be played, and we're headed home. What about the NCAA tournament? And just like that, all of a sudden, your great season just ended like that.
Well, and normally that last game, pretty emotional. You got to say goodbye to some players that really meant a lot to your program, and instantaneously you went from no conference tournament, no NCAA tournament, saying goodbye all at once. And I think it speaks to the character of the team. Started to get a little emotional, probably the coaches leading the way, and Obim right away says, Coach, let's just talk about the accomplishments, the 23 wins in a row, setting a Big 12 record and breaking Kansas's record from 96, 97, 5 weeks ranked #1, just all the great other awards and accolades this team was able to achieve, and the mood just right away changed to more celebration of accomplishments and enjoyment of being with each other on the best winning percentage in Baylor history.
It was a great season, and unfortunately it was cut short. You didn't get to play it out through the Big 12 tournament, through the NCAA tournament, and I felt most sad for your seniors who all of a sudden it was over for Freddie and for Obim and for Devontae.
Yes, and you always feel most with the seniors, and definitely the different emotions of not being able to coach them, see them every day, help them improve, and such a special group. The good thing is we're still in touch with all of them. O is GA here. Devontae's finishing his degree and working out. And Freddie has been working out all summer and doing Zoom interviews with the NBA right now.
Nice, nice. How about you've got a couple of recruits during the summer that we can talk about. Nice to have Maceo Teague and Jared Butler, who dipped their toe in the NBA waters, but decided that the place for them, this year at least, was to be back here.
Well, it did more than dip. They swam. It was a long time. We're all but the great thing is you have the utmost confidence in not only them, but their families that are giving them advice. Really quality young men and great family situations, and they were able to see what the NBA thought and weigh their options, and the great thing is they love Baylor and they wanted to come back and finish some things that they started and improve their future stock, hopefully for the NBA as well.
Tell everybody about that process, because y'all really have it's down to a science, really. You help them. Yeah. I mean, you want what's best for them.
It's a fine line, because normally agents say coaches just want you back, and coaches say agents just want you to go pro. Right. And at the end of the day, if you have agents and coaches working together, you really want what's best for your student athletes. And in Maceo and Jared's case, you want to give them all the information and then let them decide what's best for their future and how they want to tackle it, because it's their future and they only get one of them. And it's a big decision, and you want them to have accurate information, because if it's not accurate, then everybody loses. And again, why we coach is to see our student athletes reach their goals and dreams. Most of them all want to play in the NBA, and that's why when they're able to accomplish that at a level or a pick where they want to go, I mean, we're never going to force anyone out, and at the same time, when they're ready to go, we're going to support them 100%, because it's a lifetime decision when you come to Baylor, your family for life.
Wow. How about Jared? He comes back and he's been named the Big 12 preseason player of the year. Great honor for him, and it seems like he's handled that and all the accolades really with a level head.
Well, and Jared's someone that was very mature for someone his age. I mean, right now he's I think on about 15 different committees, it feels like, but one of the biggest ones, the oversight committee, helping be the voice of college student athletes with NCAA rules and what works, what doesn't, then what's the future of the NCAA? So Jared, really proud of his maturity, really proud of his spiritual growth, his growth as a leader. And I mean, when you're preseason All-American, Player of the Year in the Big 12, there's a lot of pressure and expectations that come upon that. But the good thing is Jared knows where his faith lies, and he knows because of that foundation he has in Christ, he's able to take on those challenges and expectations.
Scott, Associated Press preseason top 25 polls out this week, I think just yesterday. Number 2 in the nation. That's rarefied air up there at number 2 in the nation.
Well, excited for this current group, but also excited for previous players, because that means people value the state of our program, and they know how successful it's been in previous years. I mean, one of my favorite stats is since 2008, there's only been 5 schools out of in the Power 5, and 2 of them are in the Big 12, us and Kansas, and then you have 1 in the ACC, Duke, you have 1 in the SEC, Kentucky, and Michigan State's the Big 10 school that have won 18 or more games every year since 2008. You say, well, 18, that doesn't seem like a lot. It's really hard to be good each and every year in college men's basketball. There's extreme parity. We have a over 40% transfer rate, so your teams change in a hurry. And to be able to be consistent in the win-loss column like we've done is a great tribute to our staff and the great job that you've done, and then also most of all our players. And again, I know fans, we're not here, we're not in the Farrell team to win. And protecting our home court is something they've enabled us to do.
That consistency, that level of success consistently, I know you're really proud of that.
Most definitely. I mean, there's a lot of one-hit wonders, and to do what the guys have done since 2008, win 18 or more, that one of the best postseason winning percentages in the country, and just go into postseason. We're one of 14 to go as long as we've gone into postseason. So again, a lot of consistency, and that comes from recruiting talented players, but more importantly, men of character and faith, and they've done a great job in putting the team first and buying in to helping each other be successful.
So you're number 2 in the AP preseason poll, picked to win the Big 12 Conference this year. The team that's ahead of you is, it's Gonzaga. They're number 1. And you've got a game with Gonzaga on December 5th in Indianapolis. How did all that come about between you and Coach Few?
Well, that's game number 5 of the season. Let's start at the beginning, all right? So we don't want to skip any, right? So if you look at it, first of all, I think this, and I have a couple people researching it, but I think it'll be the toughest 5 games ever to open up a season in college basketball history. You got Arizona State, top 25 and picked to win their conference. Then you would have, if there's a possibility to play Villanova or BC. If you play Villanova, they're top 5 in the country, 3, 2, 1, depending on what the coaches poll has. And they're according to Andy Katz, a number 1 seed in his NCAA tournament. Baylor's a number 1 seed in his tournament. Then we go to Seton Hall, another team that has been outstanding in the Big East, and a team that will be contending for a championship there, and that's the Big East Big 12 Challenge. Then you go to Indianapolis, and you're playing Illinois in the Jimmy V, and you look at Jimmy V's a great cause, number 1, but number 2, that's always a great competitive game on national TV. And you look at Illinois and Andy Katz, they're a number 1 seed for them, and that's another top 25 team, and team picked to win the Big 10. And then you have Gonzaga, who's number 1 in the nation, and another number 1 seed. So you could play 3 number 1 seeds in the first 5 games.
Good grief.
And first of all, it's a great tribute to Baylor University to be able to schedule those games, because it's hard to schedule good teams. Good teams have options, and the fact that they would want to play us, that's a great thing for acknowledgement for our program. The second thing is it shows you what confidence we have in our players, because the reason you don't play 5 games like that in a row is you want to build momentum, you want to have confidence. You don't want guys to go through a stretch where they might lose a game or two or question things. And we have a lot of confidence in our guys that we know what our goal is, and we want to win a national championship, want to get to a Final Four, and to do that we want to play teams that prepare us for the Big 12 conference. So anyway, not to jump ahead of Gonzaga, Bobby, we had to go through the whole schedule.
No, good point.
Yeah.
Good point. All of those, it's a treacherous start, and all of those on the road.
And if it doesn't work
games.
out, Coach Bill Peterson, email him. He's the one that put all the ink to
Coach
the paper.
P made that happen. Remember that, folks. Then when you get to Big 12 conference play, it's starting earlier. We talked to Coach Mulkey about this, but good move by the league to start conference games earlier than we have in years past, to have a little wiggle room when you get into the conference.
Well, and that's the advantage of starting after football, because you've seen what's worked for football and what hasn't worked, and you can take best practices and make adapt from there. So I'm still cheering for the vaccine, but hopefully we're good with what we got set up with the conference, and it will be different playing Big 12 games in December.
Yeah. All right, talk about your team, the guys you have coming back, great group of returning players, and some newcomers to add to that. 3 guys who redshirted last year that I'm excited to see them on the floor this year.
So any order you want to go through?
Give me the guys who redshirted last year.
All right, the guys that redshirted last year, and that's always a big advantage compared to freshmen coming in, because they've spent a year not only working with your strength coach, learning your offense and defense, but also scouting the other opponent's offense and defense. So really it gives you a great basketball education in that first year of all kinds of different offenses and defenses. Jordan Turner was redshirted, and he was a true freshman, so he'll play his first games this year, and he's somebody that's been able to get stronger, a skilled player out of Sunrise from Houston, and now has been able to put some weight behind his frame, and great young man, really works hard. The fans have had a chance to meet him, know that very kind-hearted and a great ambassador to Baylor University. And then Adam Flagler from Presbyterian is a guard that likes to score, so kind of fits in with the guards we have. Very talented young man, wants to be a pediatrician when he graduates, so somebody does it on the court and in the classroom. And another person that very hard worker. Our fans are really going to enjoy cheering for him. And he has an advantage over Jordan from the standpoint he's already played a year of college basketball, so he knows a little bit more what to expect. And then John, we call him Everyday John because he brings the same effort, intensity, and workmanship every day. Usually 2 or 3 times he's working out a day, and he's got a great motor, very similar to a Mark Vital, Rico Gathers, kind of a cross in there. 42-inch vertical, 6% body fat, and probably 245, 250.
Wow.
But again, somebody that played college basketball at UNLV, didn't play a lot of minutes, didn't have great stats, but very similar to Freddie Gillespie's come in, worked extremely hard, and gotten a lot better. So he's somebody that the fans will enjoy watching and cheering for, and they'll love his effort.
Wow. So add those 3 to a great returning group of guys. You mentioned Mark Vital. We talked about Maceo and Jared, Davion Mitchell in there as well. I mean, that is a great core of returning players for you.
And I mean, Matt Meyer, he continues to mature. He's doing a better job rebounding the ball, which he's put on some weight, which we're happy about. And Flo Thamba's gotten really a lot better. Just again, people that want to work, want to get better. Anyone that comes to our games, you'll see Flo always shooting free throws after the game's over, and hopefully all that hard work is able to translate this year, and people get a chance to see him. And obviously Tristan's lost weight, and looking forward to seeing what he can do. And I know as a staff we're very pleased with an opportunity to have a season and to coach these guys one more time, especially since we didn't have a chance to really finish what we started last year.
Great information, Coach. Thanks very much. You're about 2 weeks away from the start of the season, that 5-game gauntlet that you've put together, Coach Peterson's put together to start the season. So we're excited about it. Thanks very much and good luck.
Well, and the great thing is, Baylor fans, you'll be able to watch all those games on prime time, and it'll be great publicity for Central Texas, Baylor University.
All right. Hey, we want you to do something while you're here. We have a drawing for a door prize to give away. So you pick a winner right there. And this is sponsored by American Guarantee Title. Appreciate American Guarantee Title. No, one, Coach.
Oh, one?
No, yeah, just
I'm sorry.
one.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Just one, and the winner is...
Do we know him?
The winner, I think we know this person. How did this happen? The door prize, by the way, is Raycon Global E55 wireless earbuds, and it's sponsored by American Guarantee Title. And the winner is someone named David Chandler. Do you know a David Chandler?
David Chandler.
David Chandler. All right. Whoever that might be, Mr. Chandler, the Chamber will get in touch with you, and they will get you the details and get you the prize. So well done. Coach, thanks very much, and thanks for your time, and good luck getting things going.
Thank you, and thank you, Baylor fans. Can't wait to see you this year.
As we continue on our Chamber Tip-Off Luncheon virtually this year, thanks to everyone that is with us. I don't think we lost anybody after we had the drawing here, so I'm sure we have a great crowd still with us to hear from Kevin Gill, the men's basketball coach at MCC. Coach, about to begin your 19th season. How about, it just struck me kind of the longevity of you and Ricky at MCC and then Kim and Scott here at Baylor. You'd be hard-pressed to find that, at two schools in the same city.
Well, we both, the institutions are great, so. Yep. It's a really good deal because the kids and the community really support us, and I mean, it's fun being around and we enjoy it.
That's good. I mean, you find a good place, find a good fit, and you stay, and that's what you've done, and that's what these other coaches have done. 19-12 for you last year. What's it look like? Give us a snapshot preview of your team that you have back this year.
Well, we have 3 returners, and really don't know much about the team yet because we've had kind of some protocols going on, but, I like the group. They're fun to coach, and basketball is basketball. I love coaching, and, I'm just eager to get out on the floor. This time last year, we have already played 5 games.
Wow.
And now we have to wait till January to play, and that's kind of different. I'm antsy, and I'm trying to get out there, but I have to hold the horses.
How different is that in your coaching body clock, which you've done for a long time, that you're not coaching games already?
It's really different, and it's kind of killing me because, I'm the type that I love basketball games. I mean, I love going to them. And matter of fact, I think I looked and saw in the paper that there's a girls' game tonight, and I'm going to probably go to that.
You're going to go.
I mean, I'm a junkie, and I love it.
That's great. Is your schedule like Ricky was talking about? You can play X number of scrimmages, and are you going to do that?
Yeah, we played a couple already. We played Trinity Valley and Mary State and Dallas Christian already.
Okay.
And then actually what we're going to do when our guys get back in January before the season actually starts January 22nd for us. But when our guys get back, we're going to try to get a couple of more scrimmage games before that and see if we can kind of be ready to roll.
Good. That's invaluable for you this year, isn't it, to get those scrimmages?
Oh yeah, because when you're playing against each other, you can get a false sense of security of how your team is, and the guys can get a false sense. The only thing that we hadn't done, our scrimmages have been at home, and a lot of times you want to go on the road just to kind of feel how it is. But with the protocols and everything that we have in place, it's just not possible.
What has this offseason been like for you? I mean, everything is just done so differently, recruiting, everything else, staying in touch with your players. What's that been like?
Recruiting it was difficult because you had to trust somebody else. You had to watch a lot of film, but in highlight videos, every shot is going to be made. So
Right.
I'm the kind that love to go out and recruit, love to go to games and go to tournaments to watch different kids and be able to sit down and talk to the coach and talk to the family. So it's been different because I hadn't been able to do that. And like I said, I'm a junkie and I love the games, and then I can tell a lot about a guy in a game than I can on a film.
Yeah, and then the personal touch with his family and getting to know his parents and things like that. So how do you make up for that, or can you make up for that?
You can try, but you really can't make up going to sit in the kid's house and talking with his parents and maybe his grandparents and even the kid, and you can get a really good feel for him. And then they can get a good feel for you, and also invite them to the campus and letting them meet some of the professors and our president and our athletic director, which we do all the time. And it's just a little different, and we just have to roll with the punches.
Yeah, that's part of it. I mean, part of it is you going into their home, but the other part is them coming to campus, getting them on campus. I mean, that's a big part of the recruiting process.
Oh yeah, because when it comes down to it, if we can get a kid on campus. We have a beautiful campus, and our faculty and staff, they welcome them, and it's just a place that they feel like they maybe want to make their home for the next 2 years.
Yeah. So you're a junkie. You've said that, basketball junkie, and you don't have games really. You don't have your season doesn't tip off till January 22nd. But here in a couple of weeks, Baylor's going to start playing. Colleges are going to start playing. There'll be basketball all around you, but you won't have any games to coach until January. What do you think that's going to be like?
Oh, it's eating me alive. In the summer, even in the afternoons, I would come over. I live about 5 minutes from here, and I would come and watch Scott and them practice in the evenings. And with COVID this year, I wasn't able to do that. Yeah. So I'm on fire right now because I've missed out on a lot, and I want to make up for lost time.
How do you, from what you know about your team right now, from your time with them so far and through a couple of scrimmages, what are your thoughts? How do you feel about your team?
Well, I feel we have a long way to go. We're trying to teach them the fundamentals and then just teach them how to play basketball the right way, which some of those guys, they've been off for basketball for 6-7 months and didn't get to do anything and didn't go out and practice and play. And, but they're trying to do the best that they can do. And I think by the time we get to the season that, we'll have a chance.
Good. I'm looking at your roster, and you've got some guys that are from around here and some from Texas. But, man, you've got guys from all over not only the country, all over the world. Yeah. How do you get guys from so far away to end up at MCC?
Well, just by some of, the guys that I trust, some of the guys that I've met through different coaches that, kids were looking for spots. Usually I'm a big proponent of just driving up to Houston or the Metroplex, but I wasn't able to do that. And, it made it really difficult this year. And, 2020 has been tough, and I hope that, we don't have to go through this again.
Yeah, boy, and amen to that. That is for sure. What's your league look like from what you know about the other teams?
Well, I know Ranger, which won it last year, they got some really good transfers. They'll be good. Collin County, they got some really good transfers. They'll be pretty good again. And then Temple, their head coach Kirby Johnson, he retired after 33 years at the school, so they're going to have a different look. So we know that they're normally a run and gun team, but we just really don't know this year. But everybody's always competitive in the league. I mean, the worst team in the league can beat you at their place on any given night. So, you know, we just trying to really worry about our guys, and hopefully we can, you know, get better every game.
Yeah. You and Kirby, Temple and McLennan, y'all have had some memorable games through the years and high-scoring games through the years.
Well, I can remember my very first game against Kirby, and it was at MCC, and we beat them 127 to 122 in double overtime. And, you know, Temple loves to score a lot of points. We do too.
Sure.
But, you know, they don't mind letting you score. We try to defend a little bit. But, you know, I tell our guys, if we can hold them to under 80, we're probably going to win the game. And, you know, some teams you want to score, you want to get into a running match, and some teams you don't, but you don't want to try to beat them at their game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if somebody said, Coach Gill, what is your what's your mantra? What do you hang your hat on with your team? What would that be consistently through the years?
Consistently through the years is education and character. Those are the two things that we really try to strive in our program. Number one, we tell the kids, if you can get that education, then no one can ever take that away from you. And most of them, you know, come from families that, you know, haven't had, you know, college graduate in their home. So they strive for that. And then just character. I mean, you know, we try to recruit good character, not characters. So, you know, I much rather see the guys become great citizens, great young men. You know, try to reach far as you can in basketball, but everybody's not going to be a pro, but everybody can be a college graduate if you want it, and you can be a good person. Because one day they're going to be a father, one day they're going to be a husband, and just hopefully they can contribute the right way in society.
Man, that's great. I mean, you're a coach, but you're a teacher also, and you know, you care about the person on the court and off the court, and like you said, the education, how important that is for them to get while they're there playing basketball.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I have great support staff. My assistant coach Jamal Green, and then Carlos Briggs. But since Coach Green been with me, and that's been for 10 years, our graduation rate is 98%. If guys there with us for 2 years, we're going to make sure that they're going to graduate, because that's one thing that you know, we sit down and visit with their parents about, and that's one thing that their parents really want is the education. Basketball, like I say, is a tool to get you that education.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being with us today. We appreciate it. Thanks for giving us insight into your team and your program, and good luck this season. It's going to be a while, January, before you get started with games, but good luck this season.
Well, thanks for having me, and this right here kind of helps a little bit, you know, with my
scratch that itch,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, that itch. So I mean, but I'm ready.
Very good, Coach Kevin Gill, head coach of the MCC Highlanders, and that's going to wrap up our Waco Chamber Tip-Off Luncheon today. Thanks again to Walk-Ons, our presenting sponsor for the luncheon and the luncheon series. And next up in the series, mark your calendars for Thursday, January 21st. That is the date that we have scheduled our Walk-Ons First Pitch Luncheon. So January 21st, day before Coach Gill opens his season. We'll talk baseball and softball coming up then. But we appreciate you being with us today. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and thanks for your support of the Waco Chamber and for basketball here in Central Texas.
We've been called the next great city in Texas. A city of builders, innovators, doers, launching toward the future. A city where the students of today will be the leaders of tomorrow. A city where hard work is part of our DNA. A city of people who enjoy life and the sweetness of each day. A community where people make the difference and everyone can prosper. Welcome to Waco.